First up, viewers, it's the anniversary of the Siddaramaiah government in Karnataka. And it saw the government and the opposition once again going at each other. As expected, the two sides continue to spar over contentious issues like law and order, like reservations for backward communities, allegations of state coffers running dry, and of course the poll guarantees. Siddaramaiah thanked the people of the state and reiterated his government's commitment to continue the poll guarantees by ending corruption in the state. The BJP, meanwhile, mocked the Karnataka Chief Minister. They say that instead of thanking people, he should resign for ruining the state in the past 1 year.
ನನ್ನ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ತೊಡಗಿಸಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಹೇಳಿರೋದು ವಿರೋಧಪಾಠನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಜಕೀಯವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಭಾಷೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಭ್ರಷ್ಟಾಚಾರ ತೊಲಗಬೇಕು. ಅದು ತೊಲಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಲಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ.
ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವರೇ, ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಮುಖ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನಗಳ ಮುಂದೆ 1 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಾಧನೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ? ನಿಜಕ್ಕೂ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೌರವ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆದಮೇಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಅನಾಹುತಗಳಾಗಿ, ಕೊಲೆಗಳಾಗಿ, ಖಜಾನೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನೀವೇ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾಗಿ ನೀವೇ ಸ್ವತಃ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು. ಬಂಡತನದಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ಉಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಸಾಧನೆ ಶೂನ್ಯ.
Meanwhile, Siddaramaiah also slammed Prime Minister Modi once again over his allegations that Karnataka government is removing reservations of other backward castes and giving them to minorities. Siddaramaiah reiterated that unlike claims by the BJP, his government can manage the state finances despite the poll guarantees, he said, and said that they're spending more on development than the BJP did.
ಖಜಾನೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟದೆ ಈ ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಪಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ, ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಎಷ್ಟೆಷ್ಟಾಗಿದೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಹೊರತು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ.
BJP, of course, was expected to counter. They say that this is a hollow claim. They've also alleged that none of the departments in the state have any money left for development.
ಯಾವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಖಜಾನೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ. ನೀವು ತಹಸೀಲ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ, DC ಆಫೀಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಖಜಾನೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ. ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಜನ ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಖಾಲಿ ಖಾಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸನ್ನಿಹಿತ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇದರಿಂದ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 1 ವರ್ಷದ ಸಾಧನೆ ಖಾಲಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂತ ಖಜಾನೆ, ಕೊಲೆಗಳ ಸರಣಿ ಮಾಲೆ. ಇದು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಬದುಕಿದ್ದು ಜನರ ಪಾಲಿಗೆ ಸತ್ತಂತಿದೆ.
Now, one of the biggest allegations faced by the Siddaramaiah government of late has been over the seemingly deteriorating law and order situation in the state. While the Karnataka Chief Minister has said that he's acted tough on such matters, the BJP claims that the state government has entirely failed in this regard especially.
Particularly in Upalli. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರನ್ನ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟರ್, DSP, DCP, ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್, DCP ಕ್ರೈಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕಾನೂನು ಸುವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನ ಕಾಪಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಮಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ತಗೊಳ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ.
On the situation of law and order, the law and order has completely collapsed in the state of Karnataka. And Karnataka on day-to-day basis has been known for wrong reasons. Day and night murder is taking place here in Karnataka. But the way this government is behaving irresponsibly, neither Chief Minister nor the Home Minister, nobody is responding. And it's quite natural, even the police department is not responding properly. So that is the reason why the number of murder cases is increasing.
Right, so let me open this up. Surabhi Hodigere from the BJP is with us today. Nizam Foujdar of the Congress. Vijay Grover, senior journalist. Kishore Subramanian, financial experts, also today with us. We're going to be, of course, delving into key aspects. This is about 1 year for the Congress in Karnataka. They're trying to replicate the Congress model now, they say, in other states, especially the Congress-ruled states. They say we are doing it in Telangana, now in the national picture as well. How guarantees in particular have been implemented, they say, in a similar way. By managing finances, they're going to ensure that the guarantees which have been promised by the India Alliance is also going to be fulfilled at the national level, is the claim by the Congress party. So the question today, of course, on the debate are going to be around the finances, whether they've managed it well along with delivering of the guarantees. We're going to talk about the law and order situation, which of course has been a big talking point over the last few months. And of course, reservation, and to some extent we'll touch down on the communal politics as well that's being playing out. So firstly, let's talk about the Congress guarantees, because many believe that was the reason that the Congress party came to power in the first place in Karnataka. Before I come to Mr. Foujdar, we've heard, of course, the Chief Minister speak highly about how they manage the finances. He has said that the borrowing has been there. He's not denying it, but he says it has been proportional and it has been something that is manageable by the state. And they're very happy with how the guarantees have reached the people. So, Surabhi, I'll open this up with you. Or rather the BJP, we've heard the leader of the opposition there say that every department is running out of funds and there's no development anywhere. The Chief Minister begs to differ. He says that there has been development parallelly along with the guarantees that they promised.
Thank you, Deepak, for that. I think any citizen of Karnataka and especially Bengaluru will attest to the fact that development works have come to a halt because the Karnataka government, which, by the way, it was not just the BJP that has made this allegation, but 11 members of the Congress party wrote to the Chief Minister in July of 2023 saying that there is no funds being released to their own constituency. So this allegation doesn't come just from the people, it doesn't come just from the BJP, it also comes from Congress people. So having said that, the point here is that high loan being taken by Siddaramaiah government in the last two budgets is a worrying sign, because you've seen how the fiasco in Kerala has played out when high subsidies and low sort of investment in capital expenditure has led them to a state of bankruptcy. Similarly, in Karnataka, your capital investment has decreased by approximately around 11 to 12%, whereas your revenue expenditure, which is your salaries, has increased in the same period of time. So having said that, that is the sort of financial management that somebody who has presented multiple budgets, Mr. Siddaramaiah, is currently playing at. And this is not his first time. This is something that we've seen during SM Krishna's time, when Siddaramaiah was the finance minister many years ago. During SM Krishna's time, SM Krishna released a white paper criticizing this very model of handling the economy, which is investing in subsidies and investing in welfareism at the cost of investing in any sort of capital expenditure. This is the Siddaramaiah, and what has happened this time around is because the Congress is strong only in Karnataka and Telangana as two revenue rich states, there is this pressure to sort of keep that political win going. Therefore, what is supposed to be a state achievement and state sort of prosperity centric budgeting has become political budgeting to show that these guarantees are working, they're working, despite the fact that there are very clear signs that this is harming the state economy. I want to give you just one other aspect. I would like for everybody here to think about how the FDI has sort of decreased in the last 1 year, 1.5 years. That is a worrying sign here in Karnataka. And I know you said you'll come to the law and order and other issues. I want to talk about that as a different guarantee that this government is giving. The failing law and order, the fact that there is an increased crime against women, these are the actual guarantees that the Congress government is giving. Whereas they are so hell-bent on saying that, 1 year has been successful, all the signs, be it financial, people's perception or otherwise, are contrary to that.
Well, Surabhi, you're talking about the urban voters, you're talking about Bengaluru. Now, when you talk about the number of people who actually turn up to vote, it's hovering around the 50% mark. Are these people actually interested in who they vote for, what the government is actually doing is a question that comes up. And the people who are actually probably enjoying the bigger chunk of the guarantees are from the urban populace who come out and vote in large numbers as well. And this time probably there is somewhere a question mark that comes up, Mr. Foujdar, that the Congress has been doing everything that they can to deliver on the promises because the Lok Sabha elections were there. Probably the kind of response that comes in from Karnataka will determine whether this was the right way forward, isn't it?
The black spot, दाग जो है ना दाग, कह रहा है कि साफ चादर से तुम सफेद क्यों हो, हम काले हैं आप सफेद क्यों हो. So the black spots of the BJP cannot be just eradicated in a day or two. The BJP is good in terms of throwing allegations left, right, and center. The Prime Minister is busy speaking lies through the day. And a spokesperson today comes here and says why the benefits of the Congress government should not go to the people. Do they have a morality to it? Do they have any ethical ground to stand here and speak? They are saying there is absolutely no development. Are you saying the Karnataka government and the Karnataka state has just about 50,000 crores to do everything? A 50,000 crores allocated budget for the guarantees is all that the Karnataka government has. The BJP needs to tell us that the rest of the budget, where does it go? What did the BJP do when it was in the government? In the last 3 years, they took 3 lakh crores of the debt on the state, which was 2.5 lakh crores for the last 65, 70 years. These guys have taken for 3 lakh crores in just 3 years, and they've burned the money. There is no trace of that 3 lakh crores in the treasury. They have looted the government with the vacuum cleaners. धंधे पे धंधा करने वाले लोग आज पूछते हैं कि what are we doing?
Mr. Foujdar, let's talk more about the current situation, especially because we are talking about 1 year of Congress. We're not talking about 4 years of BJP here. So let
me give you what we have done. Deepak, let me tell you what we have done. 1.17 crore beneficiaries were registered. About 11,037 crores have been released through this direct to beneficiaries transfer. That is direct benefit transfer to the people who have registered. About 12 million families across the state have got about 4,000 to 5,000 per month. And the nearly 43 million people of the state have been lifted above the poverty line. More than 1.2 crore families have actually started making some sense in their lives. Now, BJP needs to tell us, why did you deprive these people in the state and why did they starve them? Is BJP going to give us the answer what they did during the entire 3-4 years of the administration they did in Karnataka? Why were they known as the 40% Sarkara? Why did the QR code of the Pay CM came into every wall of the state? They have to answer these questions. Please tell us, where did this 3 lakh crores of debt was spent and why they spent it and who ate this money? Surabhi is going to answer. Surabhi has no answer for it. He wants the people of the state to starve.
Okay, before I go back to Surabhi to respond to that, I also want to bring in the financial expert on the panel, Mr. Foujdar, because this is a topic that definitely financiers are involved in. The BJP, of course, put forth their point of view about how development has taken a backseat. They were citing examples of some of your own leaders, maybe some time ago, but they did point out concerns over funds for development.
That was 10,
but
11
right now,
back,
since 1 year has passed.
That was 10, 11 months back. That was last July.
That's what exactly I mentioned. Then there was a supplementary budget that came in during the session that happened during the winter session in Belagavi. People, of course, after that were pretty content. But going forward, is this really going to work out? Is it financially feasible? Kishore Subramanian, of course, financial expert with us today. Mr. Subramanian, how do you really view this? About nearly 60,000 crores being spent from the Karnataka budget. for the guarantees. The Congress believes that, it's helping a huge number of people in the state, especially the poor, and development will not take a backseat. And even the borrowing, the Chief Minister today said, is, a few percent of the GDP, which is allowed. And it is something that's considered healthy borrowing for any state. What do you reckon?
We can't hear him.
Sorry. Okay. Good evening to
Please
all my
unmute
panelists.
yourself, Mr. Subramanian.
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening to all my panelists. Let me first say that the fundamental principle of giving a freebie is not good economically. So let's understand the fundamentals clear. Whether it is BJP, whether it is Congress, it doesn't depend on which party is giving. It is not worth it. Point number 2. The honorable panelist from Congress had said that the budget, it's only 50,000 crores. To be precise, it is 68,000 crores. Point number 1. Point number 2, you need to understand that when it is 68,000 crores, your total debt has jumped to 1,28,000 crores estimated. Now, if it's going to exceed that or no, I don't know, but the estimates are about 1,28,000 crores. Now, what is going to happen fundamentally here is, if you give freebie at this rate, you are going to go to this communist model of development where everything will be free, productivity will go down, and Bengaluru and Karnataka, which has been one of the high growing states in the country, is going towards economic disaster. This is absolutely not sustainable. Let me give you 3 economic indicators where there is a problem. So the FRBM ratio, which is prescribed, is under 20%. I do not know whether the gentleman knows the number there. It's under 20%. Karnataka is currently hovering at 25%. The interest to revenue receipts, that's to be at 15%. That's higher for Karnataka. And third important point you need to understand, that the moment you are giving these freebies at this rate, your true capex money is actually getting sucked into it. And you are also hitting the ceiling on the borrowing limits. So you are hitting the ceiling on borrowing limits. You are encouraging voters by giving freebies and not actual productive growth. Capex is going to be down. Your debt to GSDP ratio is going up. Non-sustainable numbers. And once you are caught in this trap, you cannot release this back. So this is a classic political suicide, which is not going to cost Karnataka government of today, but the future governments that are going to come in, they will also have to play this vote bank politics. This is something like reservation. You open the floodgates, now everybody has to do. Policy-wise, bad. Economic-wise, absolutely nonsensical. And let me tell you, if India has to grow this freebie culture, which according to me is pure bribe. If you have to function and win an election, show on governance, delivery models, infrastructure, job, and any parameter. I am not a spokesperson for any party. Economically, this foundation is completely flawed. This 5 guarantee will ensure that in 5 saal, Karnataka doob jayegi. That's my take on it. I'm being blatant and blunt about it.
Okay, I'll quickly, I think Mr. Foujdar will have to rebut point to point to some of the aspects that you mentioned. So I'll come back to Mr. Foujdar and then later to Mr. Grover as well.
Mr. Kishore needs to understand a few things here. The GSDP, that is the state gross domestic product, right, has grown about 17%. Does he understand that? What was the amount, was it? It is about, what is the current amount? It's 25.7 lakh crores, amounting to about 17.7% of the revised estimates from the last year. Our expenditure has increased to about 12%. And he needs to understand that the 3 lakh crores that the debt these people took, we have actually repaid about 22,000 crores back, and we are estimated to take about only 77,500 crores this year. So he's saying 1.25 lakh crores. It's a wrong number. I think Mr. Subramaniam needs to understand that the debt to ratio of the state has been demolished by the Karnataka BJP government from 2019 to 2023. They need to answer this question that 3 lakh crore kisne khaye? Kaun khaya? Kaise khaya? And let me also tell Mr. Subramaniam I've heard him in many debates saying that, the Modi's master stroke of giving free anaj to 80 crore people, Labhartis. the BJP has officially confirmed that the 60% of this nation, 60% of the population in this nation are so poor that they cannot buy 5 kgs of ration. This is the achievement of the BJP's government in the state as well as in the center. They need to tell why is it such a prime importance today that it needs to give food. When we are saying we want to revive the economic and the social capability of these people, and that is why we are empowering them so that they are able to bring their life to some meaningful, living. And that's the reason we are giving these guarantees. As a government, I'm not doing business. I'm here for the welfare of the people. I'm not doing a profit and loss account as a corporate company.
Okay, you're talking
I
that
have
it's
a
welfare
social
of the people, it's
responsibility
reaching
of
out to the
saying,
common man. People, of course, who are
yes,
poor in
Deepak,
particular are enjoying the benefits, and it's in a form. Okay. I'll bring in Mr. Grover, Mr. Foujdar. He's been on the ground, covering these elections as well.
Deepak, 10 seconds,
Okay.
please.
Small point.
Let Mr. Bhai, Kishore bhai, 1 second.
सर आपने तो
Let
बहुत
Mr.
बहुत बढ़िया
Kishore
काम किया मेरे अनाज के बारे
keep
में
his
भी आपने
purse,
बात कर लिया
keep
सर
his wallet. Arey bhai sahab, 1 second. Keep your wallet and the purse in the home and walk around the streets without any money in your hand, maybe with just about 50 rupees, and survive in this kind of an inflationary market today. Take 100 rupees or 200 rupees and survive in the market
Inflation is
for
at
2
its
days, and then tell
all-time
me
low.
what it takes to survive in this country after
inflation is at its
such kind of
all-time
an
low.
assault on the people of this country. Let them answer. You please
In the
answer.
country.
How will you
Don't try
survive
to
with just
lecture
about
the people
100?
of Karnataka.
Surabhi, you
one
have no
nimsha.
moral
A
right
nimsha.
to even
As the
answer.
labor
Okay,
You have
Mr.
no
Grover,
right.
Mr.
Your
Grover.
Ashok
Okay, hold on. Okay.
Deputy Chief Minister,
Ashok
party
says.
president, is one of the
Okay,
richest
requesting
MLAs
all of y'all,
in
let's debate this in a civilized manner. Mr. Grover, two aspects here. On the ground, what do the people really want? Are they so dependent on the guarantees like the Congress party is, portraying it right now? Are people desperate for, the help that's coming in from the government in the form of the guarantees? And also, point number 2, how much of an impact is the guarantee really going to have for the Congress party, especially in this election?
Well, Deepak, you also have seen the people on the ground. The biggest endorsement of the 5 guarantee scheme of the Congress has actually come from the BJP. The way Modi ki guarantee, the whole campaign was hijacked with Modi ki guarantee of free ration jari rahega, bijli diya jayega, all those things very clearly are the testament to the fact that the people of the state and the country deserve government support, especially in the present inflationary trend. Let's talk about 2 of the 5 guarantees, which actually I feel have been the best thing that has happened to women of Karnataka. The free bus travel, a lot of hue and cry was made that women were traveling without reason. The fact, the sense of empowerment that the women have got after that is visible by the fact that, women who otherwise used to walk short distances are now taking these buses and are able to reach their workplaces in the lower strata of the thing. The 2,000 rupees to the woman head of the family, that is another empowerment tool which has been given. So clearly these are things which cannot be, because this money comes back into circulation in the market. It's not that money which is gone. This is something which increases productivity of the state and, the money that goes back into circulation, even if the government gives it. So clearly this is something where welfareism is very important. And that is something which will strengthen, especially 50% of the population, the women we are talking about. So this is something which we are seeing that even the BJP campaign has hijacked this after seeing the success of Karnataka and Telangana of the guarantee schemes. The financial implications, yes, there could be concerns, but today when you were also there at the Siddaramaiah's Meet the Press, very clearly he said that funding provisions have been made for it. And we'll not talk about the fact that, the injustice that has been done and devolution of taxes and, the kind of money that is owed for drought and for other things which may become a burden for Siddaramaiah in the coming year. But clearly, politics apart, this is something which cannot be seen as, just money being thrown at people. It's not money being thrown at people. It is basically encouraging people, especially the lower strata, to become more independent over a period of time and take this step forward. free transportation is worldwide now the new phenomenon. Entire Europe is now shifting towards public transport and providing it free, so that one environment is taken
Do you
care
feel,
of. the
Mr.
pollution is
Grover,
taken
do you
care
feel
of.
that there is a sentiment among the masses that while they are getting these, benefits through the guarantees, you feel that they have this inherent feeling that is development going to take a back seat? Is it in the back of the minds of the people that whether the finances could go
Deepak, the money
down the
comes
drain?
back.
Is this
Even
something
the
that the
2,000
people are
rupees
thinking on the ground?
She's putting it back into circulation in the market. It's not that 2,000 rupees she's keeping it aside, because the people who are getting the 2,000 rupees are the ones who are spending it. They're increasing the spending power of the state. So that is something which needs to be taken into account as well. And clearly, as I told you, the biggest endorsement came from the BJP by Modi ki guarantee. The whole campaign being
Okay, so
hijacked
I'll
by
ask that to the BJP. This is something that, the BJP has been accused of. That, all the while the Congress campaigned with the guarantees, initially you were against it. You kept telling the people that it's not going to work out. And once they started to implement it and you realized that they won Karnataka and then Telangana, Surabhi, it became as if, the Prime Minister himself started talking about guarantees. The BJP, everywhere they went, spoke about the Modi guarantee. So, do you feel that it was somewhere hypocrisy on one hand, slamming the guarantees and then, going and falling back on the guarantees yourself? Was it because you couldn't counter it with anything else because you realized that the Congress had an edge through the guarantees that they brought in?
Sure, thank you for that question. Let me clear some misconceptions, but in the very beginning, I want to point out how the Congress spokesperson speaks from this moral high ground, somewhere above, right on top, telling us that, oh my God, you're not thinking about the poor, you're not thinking about the poor. Let me point out that this is coming from the party that gave us the Garibi Hatao slogan in the 70s and has not done anything for the rest of the country, but has ensured that the Gandhi family's coffers has continuously increased. This is the party that has the richest MLA, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, sitting there, and then the party's, star campaigner, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, talking about wealth redistribution when he himself comes from the privileged pot of dynasty politics. Having said all of that, there is a difference between the Congress guarantee and the Modi ki guarantee. The DBT that the Congress spokesperson so proudly talks about, Rajiv Gandhi had once said that if 1 rupee was spent to the center, 15 paisa would reach the ground. That's because there was a line of congressmen who used to benefit from this, spending of the taxpayers. This sort of leakages have been plugged
Deepak,
because of DBTs that the
lovely.
Prime
She's
Minister
just
Narendra Modi
opened up the
government.
right debate now.
Don't try to interrupt me. Don't be afraid of my arguments. You will have your time, sir. Please let me finish.
Surabhi, let
I
me answer.
finish?
I think you have given.
May
let
I
me
finish?
answer.
Do I
No,
have
no.
a
Let
voice?
me finish first.
Am I allowed to be heard in a
finish
debate?
with what you have
Am
throwing
I allowed to be
as a
heard?
blind
It's my
allegation.
time.
Oh,
It is
Okay,
my
Mr.
time.
Foujdar, let her
Please
complete. Let her
let
complete.
me
You can come in.
also speak.
Let her
It's my
complete.
time.
Let her complete. You can come in, Mr. Foujdar. Surabhi, go ahead quickly.
The difference between the Modi ki guarantee and the Congress ki guarantee, look, welfareism and socialism, these are not aspects that are new to this country. We have a significant poor population. State support for basic facilities has always been around. In fact, Prime Minister Modi has been accused to be a very, very big socialist by people within his own ideological irk. But the point here is, are you going to be a populist freebie, political freebie culture? Targeted welfareism is the need of the hour. There is a reason why there is a cap on the people who get farm loans. There is a reason farm support. There's a cap on the people who get Ujjwala. There's a concept of BPL and APL precisely because of that. There is a need for us to have a long-term vision. I will tell you what the Congress's sixth guarantee
Another aspect
is.
I quickly want you to come in on, comment on, Surabhi, because I have to take a break. I want to go to Foujdar as well. I'll add one more question so that I'll go to Foujdar after that. The aspect that I want to ask you here is, the Congress has been saying that during the BJP rule as well, there has been extensive borrowing. There were no guarantees. The poor were not benefiting in any way, but also the state's economy was taking a hit. Respond to that. I'll go to Foujdar very quickly.
The number that has been quoted is not borrowings, but overall liabilities. And do remember that it was 2021, 2021 where there was... ಸರ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ, ಹಿಂದಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ಕಾಂಗ್ರೆಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಅಂತಿರಲ್ಲ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಸೆಡ್ liability. I'm speaking English. You are the one who switched to Hindi. You are the one who switched to Hindi.
I do not.
I ask you to politely.
There's not enough time to really get into this debate right now. Okay. Okay.
I was trying to answer your
Okay,
question.
you're saying it's the question of liabilities, not borrowing. Mr.
I'm saying
Foujdar,
that
you have
it
30
was
seconds. I have to
also
slip
a
in a quick
COVID
break. We'll come back
It
to
was
the other issue
also
after
a
that.
COVID year.
See,
Okay,
Deepak,
COVID, plus
when
it was
they
just
do it,
liabilities, Mr. Foujdar.
Deepak, they are giving a difference between liability and borrowing. ये liability क्या है और borrowing क्या है? जब borrow करेंगे तो तभी ना liability बन जाएगा. When you borrow, then it becomes a liability. Surabhi doesn't even understand the difference between what is liability and borrowing. You have borrowed 3 lakh crores to the state, and that's the liability you have left to the state. And that's the kind of responsibility you need to take. And you are saying that we don't know who has eaten this? R. Ashok says, Khali, 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 Khali. Who have siphoned out that money? You need to tell us, why did you siphon it out? The bed scam, the PPE scam, the glove scam. You have siphoned out money from the QNICs. About nearly 3,000 crores
Okay.
have been siphoned out there.
Okay, viewers, this is just getting interesting. We have a few more issues for the people, of course, who've been seeing Karnataka, up close. We have many issues to discuss. Law and order is another issue. Reservation is another issue. I'm slipping into a quick break, requesting Surabhi and Foujdar to stay with us. We're coming back after the short break. Welcome back, viewers. It's been a year of the Congress government in Karnataka. Many say that the model of Congress in Karnataka is being replicated in other states, especially by the Congress party. And some of them are claiming that the BJP as well is taking a few leaves off their book. Whether it's actually going to work out in terms of finances, in terms of law and order, in terms of other aspects, we're discussing all that with a panel with us. Surabhi Hodigere of the BJP, Nizam Foujdar of the Congress party. We also have Mr. Kishore Subramaniam, financial expert, and Vijay Grover, senior journalist, with us today. We were just discussing before we went into the break about the finances, the guarantees, and whether they can manage it. Now coming to another big talking point, and something that of course has mattered during the time of elections and after it as well. That is law and order, safety of women. Be it the blast that happened in Bengaluru, there was blame game between the Congress and the BJP. Then, of course, came multiple murders, 2 in Hubli, 1 in Kodagu. Young women being beheaded, being brutally murdered in broad daylight. Surabhi, the Congress has said that they're very serious today. The Chief Minister said they're very serious about law and order. In Hubli, the Chief Minister agreed that that murder could have been prevented, and that's the reason many officers face suspension. And he also did mention that whether it is the Congress or the BJP, as far as antisocial elements, they are there, and how you can curtail them is the challenge, and the Congress is very focused and keen on doing that. What is your charge? Because you've been leading multiple protests, but one thing that I'll have to remind the BJP here, as vociferous and vocal that you were when it came to the Neha murder case, I didn't see the BJP carry out multiple protests, agitations, press conferences when it came to the murder that happened in Kodagu, the Anjali's murder in Hubli. It was selectively probably targeting, and especially around the time of elections when he accused the BJP of doing that, and it was selective outrage. So overall, when you say that law and order also has collapsed, today a response came in from the Chief Minister. I want you to rebut.
Thank you, Deepak. I will throw the ball right back at you. We have done multiple press conferences on Anjali. We have met her family, offered financial support. Our leaders in Hubli Dharwad have visited her. In Kodagu, we've had similar sort of interactions as well. I don't believe that we have done one less than the other, because one life is not less than any other. And specifically, I want to mention this, that the Congress corporator Neha Hiremat's father, Niranjan Hiremat, is working with local leaders and talking to local leaders of BJP in Hubli, trying to help Anjali's family, precisely because they come from a poor background. So there is no, focus on one life over the other because of elections. Having said that, let me come back to the issue at hand. I'm glad that the Congress Chief Minister has finally accepted what the BJP has been screaming for the last 1 year. I want to point out 3 issues in this law and order issue. One is that we have a Home Minister who is completely inefficient and inept. He came to a conclusion on the Rameshwaram bomb blast, and even before any sort of investigation could have taken place. Second, when he spoke about Neha Hiremat, Hiremat. He said this was a personal issue. A personal issue leads somebody to stab somebody in a college campus. And the third thing, what happened in Haveri as well as what happened in Hubli. In Haveri too, there was a very, very serious charge of gang rape by a young woman from the Muslim community. And there was fear that the police did not take her FIR because there was fear of retaliation. And same thing in Hubli, the fact that the family went to the police and said, look, there is a threat against me. He says he's going, do what happened to Neha Hiremat. And the police did not register a formal FIR, did not take any precautionary measure. This is a failing of the administration, which is why we are going to, we have been going on the streets and saying that the seventh guarantee of the Congress party has been a decline in law and order. This is visible in the NCRB numbers, as well as the fact that there is this attitude about women. Shamnu Shivshankarappa came out and said that, women belong only in the kitchen. This is the sort of regressive attitude that the Congress brings when it comes into governance in the state. We really, really hope that after this wake-up call, unfortunately that Anjali had to die because there was police negligence. But at least because of that, hopefully CM Siddaramaiah will make sure that more young women who are unfortunately under such threats have proper redress.
Surabhi, I want to put some numbers out there because I want to ask you specifically when you say there is a collapse of law and order, there's been increase in crimes against women. This is some data, of course, that we had put out a couple of days ago when we discussed this issue itself. From 2020, there were 12,680 cases. This is crimes against women in the entire state of Karnataka. In 2021, that rose to 14,468. And 2022, it was 17,813. That's a 40% rise. Now, there are two aspects to this which we had touched on upon earlier as well. One is the number of women who come out and report crimes as well is much higher. And of course, you have more cases piling up. Now, when you say in the last 1 year itself, there have been issues pertaining to women's safety or law and order, how do you really corroborate these numbers? Because there has been a steady rise even during the time of the BJP regime as well.
No, absolutely. I think that, like you said, let's say we put about 20 to 25% on reporting increases, which is a good fact that more women are coming out and reporting. The worry that we have here is something that substantiates the data, which is that there is a rise in cases, but the fact that there is this, very casual attitude about not just women's safety, but everything else. DK Shivkumar called, the Mangalore blast perpetrators as brothers. The fact that DJ Halli, KJ Halli, the congressman was attacked and nobody came to his support. There is this and with respect to women's safety, particularly the concerning statements that have come in, the fact that there has been these two specific incidents. I want to mention the Yentamuri, the Belgavi incident, where a woman was tied. When this whole Manipur issue happened, the outcry that happened, nothing happened when the Belgavi session, there was a woman tied to a pole because her son was eloping with somebody else. So this casual attitude towards perpetrators, the percentage increase in crime, the growth rate might be the same. But the fact that there is no proper redressal of complaints and this sense that, the Congress government always sides with people who are the perpetrators. That is the sort of signaling that is being given. Be ruthless.
Okay, Mr. Foujdar, respond. There has been multiple leaders, multiple accounts. They have been charging you that you have been trying to appease a particular community because of which one particular community continues to commit crimes and they think it's okay and they can get away with it. This is a charge that has come in. They've also said under the Congress, redressal becomes a big issue and you are trivializing multiple serious and severe crimes is something that they have said. Response to all the three, please.
Deepak, in 2020-21, Karnataka stood at the top number three in terms of cases against the women. It was about 4,712 cases, incidents reported, and about 655 cases serious cases against the women. And Surabhi, and here takes the pride that the country, the entire country today stands with a lot of pride here. Your BJP people
what I said. Please
Surabhi, listen to me first now.
No,
he was talking about women reporting crimes.
Listen,
good thing.
when your leaders are requesting for bail, when they are Surabhi, listen to me now first. You cannot keep saying when Bilkis Bano rapists are released from the jail, your party gives them the grand welcome. Bilkis Bano, You're talking about the Hathras. You talk about any such incident. The BJP has stood behind the perpetrator and they have welcomed those people after coming back from the jail. And you are saying there is no law and order here today? When you were ruling
Okay,
the
let's
state,
not
it was
talk about
number
other
3 in the
states here.
country.
Let's keep the
The
focus
number
on
of cases
Karnataka,
in
Mr.
the last
Foujdar.
1 year
Let's
has
keep the focus on
seriously
Karnataka about how the Congress has
Deepak
ensured
ji,
law and
Deepak,
order
these people
is
need
not
to be
is
exposed.
okay.
Deepak ji, these people need to be exposed because when it happens under their rule,
While
it
you
is the
want, while
Ram
you
Raja.
you're
We
free
can
to
keep
expose them,
going
but
to
let's
two
limit our
minutes.
conversation to Karnataka.
ये गुंडाराज हो गया. Why do the
Let's
BJP
focus
leaders
on
stand
issues
with a
pertaining to
rapist
Karnataka, please.
across the country? They need to answer. Why is Smriti Irani always silent when there is a rape? Why is Smriti Irani not speaking about
Mr.
any
Foujdar, once again,
the
that can be
against the
debated
women against the country?
elsewhere
Let me also
when
tell
the
Deepak,
topic has been
why
chosen.
did
Today, the issue is law and order in Karnataka. What has the Congress done to make the women feel safe, the people feel safe?
Why did BJP stand with Prajwal Revanna and why did they
Did
allow
not
him
stand
to
with
escape
Prajwal
from this
Revanna.
country?
Don't
And why
spread
is Surabhi
false news.
standing here, sitting here and taking a high moral ground? On what basis is she taking the moral high ground here? Why did the Prime Minister say, अगर प्रज्वल रेवन्ना को आप वोट दोगे तो मुझे
Siddaramaiah said
ताकत आएगी?
exactly that.
कौन सी ताकत की बात करते हैं आप? Which strength are you talking about? And which atrocities are you talking about? Why did you stand with Prajwal Revanna and appeal for the votes for his victory? You have to tell me. What
Okay,
happened to
Mr.
the so
Foujdar,
many
I've given
women
you
in
ample
Hassan?
time to take
Why
on the
did you-
BJP on various other issues. I want you to come back. I want you to come back and stick to the debate at hand because the viewers in the state of Karnataka after the year of Congress here would want to know. While the BJP has been saying that, well, there is a collapse of law and order, I'm not going to ask from the BJP's perspective. I'm going to ask from the common man's perspective. How is the Congress government, going? What is the government going to do to make us feel safe in the state? There has been a blast. There have been multiple brutal crimes, especially in the incident in Kodagu. It was the Women and Child Welfare Department which knew about this individual, who didn't want, this individual to marry the minor. While they knew that there could be, a possible crime at play, eventually, the police didn't probably act there. In the Hubli Anjali murder case, the relative of the girl goes to the police station and says, well, there have been threats to my granddaughter. But the police doesn't do anything. So this is something that the Congress can act and do something. What are they going to do is the question.
Deepak, I think the Kodagu's incident was really brutal. I think it's against the against the humanity. But the Chief Minister, D.K. Shivkumar, and Home Minister have made it extremely clear that there will be zero tolerance against any crime. It could be a lady, it could be a man, or it could be anybody. We have strength. We have tightened the officers who did not take action. We have told them that if they do not take action on a smallest of the requests coming from any citizen of the state, if they have not taken any action or not taken any cognizance, we will take serious action against them. We have taken enough measures today that there will be a redressal process starting from the person who is filing a complaint to the end. He needs to go back to the court to basically get things done. So we have in the last 4 or 5 months, we have strengthened the process. We have tightened the loopholes. We have made it watertight now. If there is any such issues, any such incident, the police, the law and order process will take a quick action. And I assure the people of the state that they
Okay.
they can
Mr.
be
Grover,
rest assured
do you believe that
they
the
are
police
safe.
have been given a free hand to investigate all sorts of crimes? Do you feel that they have done an efficient job when it comes to dealing with crimes, preventing crimes in the state in the last 1 year?
Absolutely right.
Very, very unfortunate that, we're discussing something like this on a platform where the perception of the people is actually not getting convinced about, the way law and order and the way the police in the state has been visible. Surabhi very rightly said that, the family of the girl Anjali had clearly flagged this issue and, action has been taken. And let's talk about, even the most high profile case, the Prajwal Revanna case. The very fact that only 3 women out of hundreds of them have had the courage to come forward is something which raises questions about the efficiency and the capability of the police department. The fact that they don't have the trust whether they will be able to get justice. is preventing a lot of women in Hassan from actually coming out, because the kind of shielding of Prajwal Revanna that is happening, that is something which is raising the fear in the people's mind that whether the police can be trusted with confession statements or complaints or not. And if it can happen to such a big case, you can understand what a common woman or a common man faces on the streets of Bangalore or in Karnataka, because very clearly the trust in police needs to be restored. That is something which is not visible at all, be it in the Anjali case or be it in the Prajwal Ravanna case or be it in any other case where we see that people are scared to go to the police department. People are not confident about the police department being able to actually handle. And this is purely because of the political protection, like we are seeing in Prajwal Ravanna case or in other cases. That is something that needs to be broken, and Siddaramaiah will have to actually do something very clearly on this, that people need to have confidence that women can walk around in streets. If Yogi Adityanath could do it in Uttar Pradesh and say that a woman could walk at 2 a.m. alone in the street of Lucknow, that confidence needs to be brought even to Bangalore. I'm sorry for making these comparisons, but the fact is that this is something which is missing today, because we see that, the way people flout the rules, laws, the hooliganism, the small videos that come off auto rickshaw guys beating up people, or, the North Indian techies being beaten up on the streets of Bangalore and Whitefield. This is not what a high-tech city or, an international city of Bangalore deserves. It needs
Absolutely.
much
And
better
this is
policing.
something that year on year people hope that policing increases, it becomes more friendly, it becomes, especially for the common man reaching out to police stations, and police becomes more accessible. Corruption and red tapeism in, especially in policing ends. This is something that people keep aspiring for, and government after government promises it, but we don't really see much change on the ground. Well, that's an important and interesting perspective we got from all the three panelists. We have another aspect to discuss, but I'll have to slip into a very short break. We'll be right back.